Hello, it's DurgaMata and it's Saturday the 4th of January. Already the month is starting to fly past and this is my last full day here in the family house. So I'm just going to show you how far I've got with the silk paint, the new silk paint frame, and do some stitching on it as a mindfulness exercise. So I've got the frame and I've got the silk cut to size and ironed nice and smooth, and I have to stretch it in the frame, which is the activity I'm going to be doing today. So, as usual, quick summary about mindfulness. Mindfulness is an exercise everybody can practice and it has hugely beneficial effects on our life. Scientists can find that it actually rewires our brain in a positive way, giving a denser neocortex, more command, more control, more focus, more creativity, more executive function and decision making from the neocortex. It also expands the hippocampus, which is in the limbic mammalian brain, and that improves the way the brain connects from one part to another and also our memory. And when it comes to the amygdala, which is in charge of stress, the amygdala actually reduces in size, showing how mindfulness reduces stress. So that's the theory, that's the important bit to know why it's important. And then what is it and how do you do it? Mindfulness is taking command of the way our thoughts work and our mind. And it means noticing where we are, what we're doing, what we're feeling and what we're thinking. And we notice that with an attitude of curiosity, kindliness and self-love. And as we feel more love for ourselves and more acceptance of who we are and what our world is like, that love expands from our heart out into the world and makes the world also more kindly and loving. And all of this makes a huge impact in our life and also changes the world for a better. There are two types of mindfulness. One is we just sit or stand or lie down and spend 10 or 15 minutes. I recommend 2 minutes to start because the mind is very restless, and if you think I'm going to stay here for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the mind might rebel and have all sorts of irritable thoughts. But if you think I'm just going to give myself 2 minutes to observe my surroundings, to observe my thoughts and feelings, then the mind usually goes along with that. And every time it wanders off and thinks about something else, you gently bring it back. And it's that activity of noticing where the mind is and what the thoughts are, and then bringing them back to where you want them to be, which actually builds the new cells and the new connections in our brain and makes our mind more obedient and more supportive and more positive, and our brain more healthy. So there's two ways to do it. One is to take time out, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, up to about half an hour I recommend a day. And the other one is to actually notice what you're doing during the day. All the different activities can be mindful. For example, you can be mindful when you're waking up in the morning and choose to fill your mind with positive thoughts, or maybe watch your breath for a bit, or repeat some kind of spiritual mantras or affirmations that are going to make the day good. You can be mindful how you're in the shower or in the bath or washing your face, and notice the light on the water and the way it splashes and what it sounds like. You can be mindful how you walk, how you eat. Everything you do can be mindful. And obviously you can't have that kind of concentration all the time, but you can give yourself mini practices all the way through the day, bringing your attention to here and now. And I'm going to do that with this, stretching the silk. So the first thing I'm noticing is the shape of the needle and the way the light runs along it. Don't know if you can see that. If I can make the light there. See how the light glints on the needle? That's what I noticed the first thing. And then I'm going to start by stitching into the corner of the fabric that I stretched over the frame. And I haven't got a knot on the end of the cotton, so I'm going to anchor it just by doing an extra stitch. I'm anchoring the cotton in the corner of my frame. I haven't got a knot on it, so I'm just going to stitch over it a few times to anchor it. That should be strong enough. Yes, that's good. And then I'll take the silk and fasten it into the corner. Not right up to the edge, because the silk's slightly smaller than the frame, and hopefully that'll give it a space. So that's the first corner. Just fasten it off here. Round about there, it's about the right distance. And I'm noticing every movement of the needle, noticing what it feels like in my fingers, what it looks like, and then I've got to cut that off. I'm going to actually snap it. Now go to the opposite corner, turning the frame round to the opposite corner, just laying it out so I can see it's going to be flat. And this is the opposite corner. I'm going to have it quite slack to start with. Won't be tightened up until I've gone all the way around. So this is anchoring the cotton in the corner, then taking it into the silk, taking it back to the corner. Don't need to actually make any tight stitching in the silk, because the threads will just be cut when the silk's been painted. But it needs to be tight in the cover of the frame. Just to snap that one, and then come to the next. Going to the corner here. Just catch it here. Whoops. Doesn't matter that that's fallen down, because I'll bring that back when I'm ready to go into it. I think that's caught it. Yes, that's nice and tight. Literally noticing how it feels in my fingers, using my senses to bring me into the present moment. Mostly touch and sight. There isn't much sound from it. The pressure that I need to put on the needle to take it into this corner. You'll notice that it's actually overlapping the frame at the moment, which is not what I want, but that's because I haven't done the four corners yet. I can adjust the position by adjusting each of the four corners. Here's the last of the corners. This one, and that is having the effect of stretching it away from the other side so it's not overlapping anymore, which is exactly what I want. That's anchored there. Now bring the silk. You'll notice my left hand's a bit wobbly. It's irritating, but it's nothing serious. Got what they call a tremulum because of a nerve that got damaged some years ago. Makes my left hand shake a bit. And here comes that corner getting fixed. and I can let go of that. Now, if you notice here, that was where I was worried because it was overlapping the frame, but now it's stretched from the other side, it's not overlapping, and I can actually tighten up all the sides just with a few threads here and there so that it'll be stretched firmly. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so I've stitched the top and the bottom. There's the top. You can see the stitches going zigzag across the top, that side, and the bottom. So the silk itself is floating in the middle of this little frame and all ready to start designing the cards and applying the gutter, which is what I will show you in the next video. Isn't the Christmas tree lovely? You see it through the silk there. It's really pretty. There you can see the whole frame in one shot. There. Hello. I love Christmas trees. My son's is very tasteful and artistic, very simple. But wherever I was going over Christmas, I was noticing the Christmas trees. And I took this video when we were on the way out from the cinema in Wolverhampton. This Christmas has been really difficult because everywhere I go and see nice Christmas things, the lights, the decorations, people having fun, and together with the family, enjoying ourselves. My son cooking fantastic food, sitting together to eat, opening presents. My son makes stockings for us all. There's a pain in my heart, like a grief, because part of me is in Gaza and there's a genocide and there's starvation. And how do you hold the two things together? How can you relax and enjoy Christmas with the family when part of the family is in desperate danger and pain? So I'm going to finish by sharing what I'm trying to do to make a difference. It's pathetically small, but something's better than nothing. Hassan is a real man. His mum is a real woman. I feel she's my sister and he's my son, if you like. Years ago when we were in Kolkata, my son said, "If you ignore suffering, it's not a neutral act." And he's so right. If you ignore suffering, you become less human. Your heart closes. You become hard, dead. So, even if we can do something in the face of suffering, it's making a difference. And it's 1,000,000 times better than nothing. So if anybody'd like to hear some information about Hassan and how you could join me and a few other friends who know him and his family to help them survive the genocide. There are other things you can do as well, but if you're linked with an actual family, people that you can develop a relationship, and I've known Hassan since June now, it feels more real. It's more healing for your heart. Help Hassan and his mother in Gaza. Hassan is a young man from Gaza who recently graduated from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology. Since the beginning of the aggression on Gaza, his family house was destroyed and Hassan and his mother were displaced. His mother also suffered a leg injury, on top of having diabetes and struggling to get the proper treatment in Gaza. They are raising funds in order to be able to afford basic necessities which have become scarce and extremely expensive. Waterproof tents and tarps for the coming winter and rain, and the medical attention that Hassan's mother needs. Scan to donate. Thank you. I hope you had a very happy Christmas, and I wish you all the best for the new year. Love and peace with justice and oneness love. Bye.